Howdy, everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I'm your host, Josh, SalvationsElite, and to my right is Rex Shady Nero? What simulation are we living in? Is this the Matrix? What is happening? So, we got Rex Shady Nero in here. I gotta ask, before we get anything else, what's going on?
Josh, I am feeling electric tonight. The way, just like the Eiffel Tower is lit up at night amongst a romantic hotel bedroom. You know, there's the two little dens and a little Luca sleeping and hiding away on a little bed.
Oh, that's where this is going.
Cuddled up.
Oh.
Until they went to Dallas. That's where our story begins, and it's made me feel a certain type of way,
yes,
if you know what I mean.
Yes, and you ended up here after all of that. So obviously, guys, Sam cannot join us today in the day that we have Rex in studio. And it worked out, not worked out, because we're actually showed our mics here, so this actually worked out perfectly. But unfortunately, no Sam today, as we have him replaced by Formal over there on the right side of the screen. And yes, that way. And it should be a good one today. Obviously, there's a ton that happened. I mean, this might be like the craziest upcoming tournament. I mean, it's absolutely packed and a ton going on. And so I am thoroughly excited to get into it. And so without further ado, let's make it happen. So obviously you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, per usual. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, we appreciate you guys. And you can drop a review on Apple Podcasts. And speaking of reviews, we're going to read one, or maybe two today. Long Live AG says, I make sure to tune into the podcast as soon as they drop. As said before, super informative. I would like to see Rex dive into some poetry and start writing. I think he's expressive and he puts a pen to some paper. You never know where the world could take him. Take care, guys.
Namaste, my man.
Any poetry in the works here?
No poetry as of right now, but maybe for the future.
Oh, I'm disappointed. And CVJBJBJBJB says, this podcast is a must listen for me every week, and you guys continue to kill it. You guys always bring all the big news, and all the joking around is awesome. I have to say my favorite part is when Josh opens the podcast about 1 minute in with the I've got to ask, guys, what's going on? But seriously, you guys are awesome. As Rocker fan, it's been hard to watch the online COD because the Rocker have gone downhill lately. Yeah. But you guys always lift it up with the fun talks and awesome environment. Keep it up, guys. Just to add to an end question to spice up the conversation. Who do you guys think will be the best Cold War player?
It could be
Octane. Easy calls.
I could see Slasher.
Yeah, it's easy to bank on the main ARs. I mean, you could probably just say Simp and be in them pretty good.
Probably could just say Simp.
Yeah. I'd imagine. But thank you guys for the reviews. We do appreciate that. And Rex will be starting his novel very soon.
You know it. Yep.
I mean, you should write a whole like fictional novel on this season and turn it into like a adventure.
I would love to do Parasite's documentary.
Parasite's documentary novel. There we go. Now, like a biography.
Biography.
I am so down. So, obviously, you can find us on Twitter. Myself, SalvationsElite, to my and to, of course, Rex is not on the screen. It says _Bo3. That is wrong because it is Shady Nero. So go check him out on Twitter.
Shady Nero.
And of course, go show Sam that love and respect because Formal is taking his place today. His love and his idol. And so he's taking his place today. So go show Sam some love on Twitter as well. At _Bo3. So without further ado, actually, there is some further ado because the Draft Buff League, obviously the link's down below if you're watching on YouTube and in the description or the pinned comment. But this week Draft Buff opened up the leagues now that you can have more than 100 people in a league. So this week had 218 people in it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a competitive.
Thanks for showing up, guys.
Yes, a competitive atmosphere to say the least. And Neon Gunna took home the title, 343 points with Skyz, Attach, Illy, Zero, and Scraps. So he went the Zero route. Interestingly enough, Illy, Attach, Skyz, Scraps. I gotta say, I mean, I was happy with myself. I finished 17th.
Wow.
Yes.
218 people.
I know. I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I had Kenny. I mean, Kenny got smoked, and I still finished top 17. Yeah. He had 45 points. And I had Shotzzy, Illy, Attach, Accuracy, and Kenny. But also, shout out Seth Nav, finishing 11th. I see you. You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was a fun one. Obviously, join it. See how many people we can get it this week.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. If we can get to like 500 something, that'd be absolutely nuts. But without further ado, now let's get right into the news. The Call of Duty News of the Week. Yeah, boy. Ooh. Things you love to see. So, in the news this week, baby, let's start about, we haven't talked about challengers in it feels like a while, because we didn't really talk about it last week much. And so we need to update everybody on this, what's going on. So this week in the challengers world, of course, there was the challengers event for London. This is the open event for London. And would you look at that? FaZe Academy finds themselves back on top.
Yeah.
Once again in North America. Basically, they pick up right where they left off, and they've been pretty successful this year, and they find themselves back on top.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it. I think it's going to be great for FaZe. They look like they're strong. They're staying strong. Yeah, excited to see where they go.
Yes, I know. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I'm sure if they're, in any other year, all of these guys would be on some pro roster at this point.
Yeah, I mean, especially for like expansion teams next year. Now that we're nearing the end of the league, the fact that they're consistently placing first brings the potential that whole team will just be picked up and just placed in a city as a pro team.
Right. Like,
which I'm sure that's what they would all dream of.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we'll hopefully get 2, maybe 4. I think 4 would be the ideal situation to get to 16.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's why all these young guys are playing now. Everyone in challengers is playing to get picked up by an expansion team next year.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully be in the mix for like a other spot on another current roster. So
it also might say something too about the academy teams that these teams have, because now FaZe Academy is like a #1 team. Do you think it's because they're practicing with FaZe more? Probably practicing S&Ds.
It is interesting because they weren't the best team in the first few months.
No.
That is interesting.
Now an academy team is the best. I don't even know what happened to the other academy teams.
Right. And they've kept the core of their roster together this whole year. So it's like, that is interesting that maybe there is something to that.
It's like the one academy team that took it seriously. It's like, we're an official.
It is interesting.
So now they're the best ones.
Well, and and like you look at the guys in the European scene, you have the guys who were formerly on London's academy. And they were all together, and they've been staying together. That's Linny, Mad Cat, Nasty, Nolson, and Weeman. And they won this week as well and dethroned War.
War's been winning every single week, and finally, Mad Cat gets his revenge.
So it is interesting that those types of teams that have been staying together for a while now are like seeing some success at this point.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see where that moves forward. I mean, other people in the North American scene, like Triumph finished second. Again, that's Fero, Standy, Nagafin, Diamond Con, Royalty. So the Triumph squad that's been in the mix this whole year as well. They come in second. Then you got Pentagram's team coming in fourth. Zinx, Pentagram, Willet, Stamina, Dilo. Then Exotic, Fire, Pollux, Parasite, Goonjar finishing fourth.
Parasite in the top 6 again.
Yep. Always around there.
He's top 4, top 6 every time.
Yeah. I mean,
first place once, I think.
Yeah. So, solid stuff overall. I'm excited to see how that plays out moving forward. I mean, we got one open event left, and then you've got the last chance qualifiers, and then you've got the challengers champs moving forward. So, I mean,
they're going to stream the champs, right? The challengers champs.
Yeah. And there's $500,000 on the line overall. So it's like, you better stream that.
That would be fun.
I know.
I hope they stream it well, like with the casters and everything. It's like,
I'm pretty sure they'll have
we're
all
ending the year learning about these new up and coming players that will more than likely be picked up by teams next year. The expansion teams.
The champs events, that's on the 15th and 16th for challengers. So challengers finals are on the 15th and 16th. So we'll be talking, I'm sure, a lot about that in the upcoming podcast after Toronto, because I mean we have a month between Toronto and COD champs. Kind of the finals, because it is spread out a little bit, because you got like the week before you've got things going on, so they do spread it out by like a week or so, which is weird. But so you've basically got a whole month until the grand finals of champs. So we will be talking a lot about challengers. I think, which will be really, really fun, because that'll set up for rostermania as well. So I think it'll be pretty important to know those names moving into the rostermania. Yeah, especially if there's expansion teams. So
yes, for sure.
And like, I mean, we were already talking about this a little bit, but like I think roster mania is going to be really fun in especially if there's 4 expansion teams.
Well, do you think these new players are going to stick around, or like Awakening, Mack, all these Draza and Hollow now, these randoms that have just now joined the league?
Right.
Do you think they'll be around, or are they going to go back down to where they were before?
I know, like where are pros at with like Vivid and Kismet, and the kind of guys on like the newer guys are, well, maybe not newer, it's not the right word, but guys on teams that are on the lower end of the spectrum here on the standings. Like that'll be interesting to see with roster mania and how they find their way onto rosters. I would imagine they're probably pretty nervous right now about their futures.
I don't doubt it.
On spots,
especially Pander.
Oh yeah, guys like Pander, Proto.
Yeah.
So it's like who knows where they're at right now, which is what makes it really, really fun. Yeah. So obviously APAC, shocker, Renegades took it home again, continue their absolute dominance.
Have they ever not gotten first?
I'd have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure they have not gotten first. I mean, like literally you go back and like look at like FIDA and Swifty, like their wins in the past year. It's ridiculous. Like Swifty, I mean, you even go back to Black Ops 4, they were dominating in Black Ops 4 in the AM scene.
Yeah.
Even in North America, and like this year, I mean, they've won like, they got second in one at that 1K series back in March. They got second in February. They got second at the beginning of February. And the last time they did not get first was at launch weekend.
Wow.
Which was the full open bracket on LAN.
Yeah.
So absolutely absurd.
I like to see those games, just like how much better are they than the rest of the competition.
Oh, I know.
Or if there's even any chance for these guys to be picked up. They're getting first every time, but even though they get first every single time consistently in their region, will they even get a team anyways?
Right, and that's what sucks is like they've got to be so. That's what's got to be so frustrating is that in any other normal year, if they're this good, they would easily be known by every single person in the AM scene.
Yeah,
but because they've been segregated this whole year,
they can't prove themselves.
They have no chance to prove themselves. And I mean, and even at they finished what did I say, top 6 at launch weekend. And so it's like they were good.
Maybe a team like Paris might pick them up.
And that's the thought. I mean, they've already have the Aussies on their team, so they just go full Aussie, the full Aussie squad.
I don't know.
I mean, they easily could drop Dens, drop
Zed, maybe. Although
or drop Zed, drop Kismet, and then just go full Aussies.
That'd be kind of fun.
It'd be fun. I'd be down. Or like Sydney, Australia gets a team. Now that would be lit.
Yes, that would be.
Yes, I'm all in about that.
Sydney, yes.
Let's go. I'm about that.
Call them the koalas.
The
ruse.
The koalas, mate. But so the Challengers is really heating up at the end of this year. And again, Toronto, this open next weekend is going to be, I mean, really telling to who we should be looking at moving into the last chance qualifiers and then into the playoffs and championship for the Challengers. So a lot of money on the line, and that's going to make the whole year worth it for a lot of people there. So, I mean, I don't know if you saw like all of the heat that that the league was getting, not a ton, but some AMs were voicing their opinions about the prize pools being split farther down the final leaderboards.
Yeah.
Because they were pissed at I think maybe I can't remember off the top of my head, maybe top 16 is getting paid out now
in the Challengers bracket.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. Now it's like online, so it's like you are taken away from the best teams, but like in a way, it gives a chance. It gives these people and challengers who are not getting money from any organization.
Right. You finish top 16, you get a few $100s, like 500 or so.
Yeah, because I mean, challengers are very competitive. So like these people who are top 16 are probably devoting a lot of their life to this and probably not having jobs.
All of their lives, probably.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe their league's gonna have the goodness of their heart, but I don't know.
I'm okay with it personally.
I think I'm okay with it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does suck for like your higher people who like really are really good,
especially in like the European scene and APAC. I'm actually not sure about if that's divvied the same way. I don't have that link on me right now. But that would be interesting. If APAC got top 16 paid out, then I would be a little frustrated because it's like, really? We're paying APAC top 16? I don't know. I feel like I might be able to finish top 16.
In APAC, yeah.
I don't know. Probably not. I'm garbage. Let me see. Actually, I found it. Top 12 are being paid out in APAC. Top 24 is getting paid out in Europe. And
I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't like that.
And top 24 is getting paid out in the US.
How many people are? I mean,
that $2,500 per team for top 24, $50,000 for the winning team.
I don't know. I mean, it's not bad money. I mean, 50,000,
10K each.
I could.
Although if you took away
half a year.
8K from the 24 and put that to the first and second place teams, so you took out 8 teams, 2.5K.
Mm-hmm.
This is tough math. 20,000. So you give like an extra 10 or 15 to first and second. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it personally, but I'm not one of the top 20 AM players in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the bottom 10 are pretty hyped about it.
Yeah.
But those top guys are like, especially like, Parasite's team, when people are consistently placing in the top 6 are like,
are you kidding me? Yeah.
I always get here and now I'm getting less money.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can understand why they're complaining, but
I understand it, but
at the same time, like if this helps support the AM scene long term, and like also when it comes to like orgs feel like it's worth investing at least some sort of money.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Like where like, top 8 is getting paid 10K. Like that's decent.
Yeah. It definitely, I like the org idea. It's like it encourages organizations to get involved in the challengers scene because at least there's going to be some sort of payout to their players, and like some orgs I know will take
more recognition in some way.
That way. There's money involved. Yeah.
So hopefully in like the long-term growth of the competitive of the AM scene, it helps.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering there is how that plays out totally. But I was wondering what you were going to say about that because I wasn't sure exactly how I felt. Mm-hmm. But all right, let's move forward into the news here. Why don't I start this? I guess we'll start right off the rip. So Slasher was talking about his future in competitive COD and basically was hesitant to like at all talk about next year. And he basically said like if next year's online, which he thinks it very likely will be at least at the beginning,
I don't know about that. I mean,
that he would consider retiring because he'd rather not play than play online.
Oh man. I guess. I mean, he must have money some money saved up, I guess, because I feel like he's still kind of at the top of his game.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if he's at the top of his game, but he's still really good.
He's a top 15, 20 player.
At least.
Yeah.
Like, he's still really good. Even on a bad OpTic team, he's, like, really good.
Yeah.
So, for him to retire now, it's like, dude, you're still one of the best. And he's a veteran. He's a legend.
That shows how pissed he is.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with vets retiring if they're bad, but not when they're good. Like, why would you ever leave when you're actually good? So I hope he doesn't, but I can see the frustrations online. And if online causes this new, like, wave of just, like, taking away all the vets that are around, that would hurt. That would suck.
I really hope that we can do, my goodness, if it's still on land, like, coming, like, December, January...
Yeah,
that'll be depressing.
Online, yeah. But I mean, we lost Octane. Like Octane, the whole Seattle Surge team is like these are like known vets and like they're good players, especially Octane. We lost him
just because of online.
Because it's online. It's like hard to almost say how legitimate things like a player is. Like we know Octane exists. There's like this guy's a good AR, but Octane exists.
Right, and then would that hinder Scump? Does Scump get pissed about online? And then he's like a whole nother year online? No way, I'm out. Like yeah, that would be scary too.
Next year he has to. He's contracted.
Well, he said he's very likely would play regardless next year, but just who knows?
Yeah.
Other veterans though, very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's scary. Let's just hope that things can get figured out here, and we don't have to worry about that by December and January. But I'm not 100% convinced at this point with how slow things have been moving at this point that it's going to be fixed by then fully. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
America can adjust or not.
I don't know. I mean, I think it could, to be honest, but yeah, that's a whole,
that's a whole new discussion.
That's a whole different topic about COVID and everything, but I feel like it could. Like
right.
You see things the way happening in New York now, like we're moving into different phases. Things are starting to open up in New York already, but there's talks of that being reverted and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm staying optimistic, but it is a little frustrating overall. The next thing, I mean, like when it comes to playing online, though, the improvements that are being made, at least slowly but surely, that hand cams and PS4 monitors check cameras, PS4/monitor check cameras, like things that, cameras that you literally have just facing your monitors and your PS4s to ensure that there's no tampering going on here with like Cronus's or with any type of like stream sniping, or I don't even know how they would do that. Extra ways to cheat.
Yeah.
Any other cheating systems?
Wall hacks or
Wall
something.
hacks. However it looks, whatever it looks like on your screen, they're fixing all that in any way. So that's good to see. And that's positive news, I think, overall. They said it was instituted last weekend. So
they used it for this tournament?
They've used it for this past 2 tournaments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's good to see.
Yeah. I mean, if CDL's willing to pay for that and do it, go for it.
I'm right with there. I mean, Hex said that they sent out more cams to every single player for that specific reason.
That's good. I hope they're required to use those cams.
Right. And that was the weird thing that Scump was saying, in their pregame show, was that they thought that all players were being required to do the face cams at this point.
Yeah.
And they're still not using them.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't understand.
I don't get it either. Like,
I understand like Hollow and Draza because it's like they're new to the league, so it's like it takes some time for it to get there, I guess. But
how aren't they enforcing? Why aren't they enforcing it? I just don't get it.
Maybe they're getting fined if they don't show. Like,
we just don't know.
People are just holding that fine because maybe it's not that big of one.
Maybe,
but I wish they would.
Whatever way, they're not doing enough to actually enforce it, obviously. Because it's just frustrating when you look at the screen and you only see 6 of the 10 players with face cams.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Also, I wish they switched to the reactions of their face cams sooner. Like,
yes.
They wait.
I want to see them
immediately
get mad and flip the camera up like Slasher always does or whatever. Like,
and now you're seeing the ceiling.
You see the losing team, like 4 of the players, like cameras are just flipped up or just turned off. It's like I want to see that reaction of them doing it.
I know,
but
maybe they don't want us to see that. But I want to see that. Come on, man.
Honestly, what would be kind of cool is if they got the face cams while they were playing and could somehow like implement that. It's like it's search and destroy 1-on-1 or something, and like have a face cam of like
and live feed the cams both there.
Yeah, you can see the player that's like playing with it and like a search and destroy. So it's like you can see the intensity on his face when he wins and when he loses.
I thought for some reason I saw that they were testing that at some point earlier in the year, but maybe I'm crazy. Yeah. Like they were putting them in, overlaying them on top of the pictures on top of the screen.
That's what would be so cool.
Yeah,
that would be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be dope.
Yeah,
and like. There's ways that online COD could be really cool to watch.
Yeah.
But like it's definitely not being implemented in the right way. And there's still problems with audio.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever gonna
what are all the other leagues doing? What magic elixir is like the CSGO and League doing?
Are the other leagues like not having problems like that? Because like I guess I don't know for sure. I feel like they're not. I mean, ever hear
from what I've tuned in about it, it doesn't seem like they are. But maybe I'm just oblivious, which is possible. But I don't know, man. It just at this point,
they're also PC, so like the PlayStation. Right. I don't know.
That might have something to do with it, like with how many Elgatos they have to have running and like all these different things to align audio.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how is it good sometimes and not good? I just don't understand. I don't get it. I'm mind blown.
I don't know. I mean, the casters can be on PCs too because it's crossplay. So.
Yeah, that's what's weird. So I don't get it. But yeah, well, that's fun. I think overall, I just like those rule changes and like enforcing that over the whole. When it comes to jerseys, Clayster tweeted about like the potential, or RC's tweeted about the potential of having unique jerseys next year, and then Clayster was like, "Yo, our jerseys are fire next year," and he said like he was excited for them. So hopefully that means that they're unique designs. I mean,
do you think he was baiting?
I don't know,
because I know
it's possible.
Because RC was like saying it'd be cool if we do that, and Clayster's like, "I'm so excited for ours." Like it was weird that he would say that as. I feel like he's baiting, to be honest. But if not, would be cool to have the customized like jerseys.
Well, it's just like they're just so not interesting right now. You know, they're just so like middle of the road. Like they're not bad. I mean,
it's just the team jerseys. I mean, the teams made those jerseys.
Yeah, but the league made them for the teams because they're all the same.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Like if they had unique designs, like 100 Thieves jerseys were dope, like the baseball style, like button ups were sick, and like obviously like OpTic jerseys were legendary, and so many of them. Like I mean, so many teams had cool jerseys in the past in the CWL.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of frustrating to see like the same boring look. I don't know. I don't love it personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like some more unique flair to the CoD League when it comes to like the clothing and branding overall.
I would too. I would like to see just more like personalized gear a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like I wish Scump could wear his own like Huntsman jersey, but like it has a Scump twist to it.
Yeah,
where it
that'd be
doesn't
cool.
just say Scump, but it has like I don't know some more like crown or
Right,
whatever.
his logo or
His
something.
logo and like some sort of Scump twist that just makes it kind of cool.
That would be cool. Individualized jerseys. That'd be
Yeah.
something different that esports could do. That'd be really
but like
cool.
maybe you have to like earn it too.
Oh,
Cool. I mean, 'cause
that would be cool.
I mean, my brain's now going to like the in-game jerseys. If you could personalize an in-game jersey,
Oh,
because
if you like won an MVP at the last tournament or something, and then now you have like a special jersey.
yeah, well, even just like MVP of the whole year.
Yeah.
Because Overwatch League does that, where it's like the MVP of the whole year. They make a skin of like the
Really?
the character that they're kind of known for.
Yeah.
They make a skin for that character that's supposed to relate to the person somehow.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's actually cool.
Yeah, and so if they did that with COD, where it's like they could relate it to the player, and the player has a big hand.
How is Activision so creative for one of their games and then so not for the others?
I don't know, but I mean,
Bruh.
but it'd be so cool to see that. Like Scump had to even like make an operator that is Scump. Oh my god, that thing would sell.
It would.
They would
dude.
make millions off that.
They
you could
would.
sell that for $20, and people would buy
Every
that.
Huntsman fan would buy that.
It's just Scump and his likeness as a operator
Yeah.
could win hottest operator.
Oh, it could win hottest operator, which we'll be doing something hottest operator related here in the upcoming podcast, probably at the beginning of August at some point after Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a good point. That is a good point.
That would be
But yeah,
cool.
this was a big week for you, Rex. I mean, New York won last weekend, then Dallas wins it, and Paris kind of been your boys.
Paris, I've been rooting for my
Jeez.
underdogs for a while. I know.
Jeez, it's been an up and coming week for you, man. What a glow up. Other pieces of news here. Vicstar, so Vic, in the Sidemen, the UK legend, he was actually doing a sponsored watch party, which I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Yo, CDL, I mean, if you're listening, hit me up. I want to watch these. I want a watch party, please. I will do it for free. Just sponsor it.
And let us do it.
Let me do it. I will do it for free. Just hit me up.
Oh, that would be so fun. If we could do like a pod, like not like a pod, but we could talk
Oh,
with
yeah,
it
yeah.
while it's
That
going.
would be fire. I
when
know.
they're playing the commercials, we can be the new commercial.
Thank you. Please hit us up, CDL. No, but yeah, he was doing a sponsored watch party, and like when he was streaming, he had over 15,000 viewers the whole time.
That's
So,
good.
I mean,
You're hitting that casual crowd, like of course. So
yeah, I mean, like what percentage of Vicstar's viewers have watched? He's a Warzone. I mean, literally, he does not play COD. He plays Warzone. That's all he plays.
Warzone. Yeah.
So that's hitting a whole new audience, which is really, really good. Hopefully, again, I've literally been saying this for years. The fact that they're finally doing this is hype. I'm lit. I'm totally hyped about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's great. I mean, 15,000 viewers. I literally have gotten comments on like the top players of COD,
Yeah.
like my top players of Modern Warfare videos, of like Vicstar fans saying like, "Where's Vicstar?"
Oh my god. No. No.
I mean, hey, he's nasty at Warzone though.
Yeah.
He wins all those Warzone Wednesdays, bro.
Yeah. One of the best COD players in the world, really.
Yeah, just obviously one of the best. But yeah, so good to see. I'm actually pretty happy about that. Last piece of news was on the Codcast. Chino, Money Cheen was on the Codcast, which was really, really fun to listen to. I mean, Chino's always just a blast, and he's just so real. Like he just answers things as they are.
Yeah.
And he was kind of asked like, why were you guys benched? Like, why were you and Dashy benched? And like, what went on there? And so I thought it was a really cool convo. I mean, he basically like explained that, obviously the team thought that Dashy wasn't really bought into Modern Warfare and wasn't willing to practice and put in the time and the concentration into practice and didn't have the right mentality.
And Dashy didn't care.
Basically, short answer, he didn't care.
At least I think.
You've been saying that.
I've been saying that. Dashy does not care, and
You've been saying that for
obviously,
months.
It's true. Still,
Yeah.
why is TJ there? I don't know, but
And that showed this weekend in the stats too. My goodness, TJ got dumped on.
yeah,
Yikes. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like the podcast was great. I love the whole thing. I mean, Chino was really, really real about OpTic and about his future in COD and overall, which is really cool. So, Chino, if you ever want to come on the podcast, hit us up.
Chino, yes.
Let's go, baby.
Why did Chino say he got benched?
Basically, the team just wanted to experiment with different play styles. I mean, at the end of the day, like, Chino's kind of like a do-it-all type guy, like, he'll be willing to flex, he'll be willing to be the main AR, he'll be willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Right.
But, like, they wanted to experiment with some other guys. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was, I mean, come on. Teach or Chino? Honestly, at this point, I'd rather have Chino.
Me too, honestly. I would rather have Chino rather than Teach. I do think Chino does bring a lot to a team. Communication-wise, I think, like he said, like, Pac-Man said he's always ready to play, he's always ready to get on and go hard every single day. And he's like, that's a breath of fresh air, especially with how we know how COD players are.
Right.
I would have liked to say Chino stay in. I don't like, he wasn't bringing the most, like, firepower, I guess, which OpTic still needed that. But Slasher was bringing it. Quavo had his moments of bringing it. And I think Chino probably enabled them to do that. I don't know. I would have liked to say Chino stay in because they started doing better when he joined.
Yeah. If you could guess, try to guess. Just throw out names. Chino, he was asked if you could build your perfect roster for next year with you on the team, who would you pick?
Slasher, Kenny.
You're right on those two. 2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure Slasher and Kenny.
Yeah.
I don't know, accuracy. Nah, maybe accuracy.
A teammate of his.
Now?
Yeah. A teammate of accuracies was selected for the squad.
Temp?
It was Temp.
Really?
Yeah. He says Temp. No one makes him laugh like Temp does, is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more. This is a little bit. This was a surprise to me, but not a surprise because the guy's insane.
Shotzzy.
It was Shotzzy. You did pretty good there on guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's Temp. That's the one that kind of shocks me a little bit. But
yeah, he was like the last one he mentioned. He's like, maybe like Temp.
Have they ever even teamed together before? I feel like they
Back
did.
in the day, they must have.
I feel like they did at one point.
I feel like they would have at one point. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, that was really, really fun. I overall, again, I really liked that podcast. I thought Chino did a good job answering questions. And it was just like really real about where he's at in his career right now and where he wants to go. So I highly recommend. No free shout outs to the podcast, but hey, go check out Chino.
Yeah.
But with that said, finally, I think it's about time we hop into this reaction. What in the world, man? CDL London. Absolutely insane. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Nobody would have. There's a lot of things that happened at CDL London that nobody would have thought would have happened. But
yeah.
Paris being the number one thing for me, how far they went was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I mean, literally ridiculous. Like, if you could find me one person in this world who in their bracket legitimately believed that Paris would make a final in this tournament, I'll pay thousands. No chance. There isn't one human on this planet who
Nobody
would
have guessed it.
No.
Imagine if you were using... yeah, never mind.
Oh, what? Where are you going to go with that?
I was going to use the midnight gambling site. I was going to mention them like, are we getting...
Whoa, no free shout-outs.
We get paid to do this. Imagine if you gamble at midnight.
That would be crazy.
And you bet for Paris to go as far as it did. It'd be like, boo. We're making money.
Money. No, but Temp has teamed with Chino a few times, but only in 2Ks and UMG events.
Okay.
But never in an official tournament. They teamed back in AW for some some 5Ks.
Right.
But yeah. So it's been a minute. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to Paris and just CDL London as a whole, like, wow. I mean, Paris, the team was just so surprising how they played. I don't even know. I mean, I guess we'll just start off with Paris. There's so many things to talk about, but Paris is definitely one of those big talking points.
Yeah. Do you think the teams played bad, or do you think Paris was actually gotten that much better?
Right. I mean, like Empire, they 3-1 Paris and they 3-0'd Paris. But then Empire also 3-0'd the Mutineers. They 3-0'd New York.
Yeah.
So it's like...
And the one map that Empire lost was against Paris.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I thought subliners would give them a run for their money at least.
I know. And they got absolutely smoked.
Yeah, and then New York got smoked by Paris. So like, part of me is like, well, New York must have just be playing bad for some reason.
I mean, that's what's crazy. So I mean, you know, obviously going into this tournament, the question was kind of like the two big questions were: what's OpTic's X factor with the new roster, and how's this return to the 10mm meta going to affect teams? Because obviously New York looked amazing on the 9mm meta, and then they come to 10mm and they look very normal,
back to where they were before.
Which is like
crazy to me. It's like, does it? Like, I know the meta is like a big deal, but like, really, the 10mm like makes that big of a difference that you're going 0-3 to Paris?
I know, right?
It's like, whoa. I know, you're really dependent on this meta. Like, jeez.
Yeah, like I mean, it is crazy. And like, we all kind of thought that, you know, Dallas would be better off on, well, honestly, maybe not, because the question was like, you know, would Crim6 run the M4 or would he run the MP5? And he looked good, basically running the MP5.
Yeah, he did.
And like,
he said he was putting more time in, and guess it paid off.
Yeah. And like with Paris, it's like, that's what's weird is that you think they'd actually be better with the 9mm, but they look terrible. They didn't look that good with 9mm. I mean, they beat LA Gorillas. Yeah. And then they come out here and they looked great.
Well, Zed looked way better than Zed has ever looked, in my opinion.
For most of it.
I mean, for the second day, at least, I thought Zed was doing well. Luca started popping off. The second day, Paris was just destroying.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they lost 250 to 73 in that first map of the whole tournament on Ramasa to Dallas, and everyone was just like, wow, they are so bad.
Typical Paris, you know? Like, we kind of expected that.
Yeah, and then they come out and because like, I mean, like the stats, like, you know, Dens went 9-21 in that match, Kismet went 11-25, 9-23, 14-20 for Shocks, 15-23. It's like they all got smoked in that first. So like, that really does hurt the hardpoint stats overall throughout the weekend. But
right,
I mean, yeah, after that, really S&D was their bread and butter. And like, you know, they beat
Luca,
Empire,
right? It had to be Luca. I felt like Luca was doing so well in S&D.
Yes,
at least on the third day,
for sure. I mean, they beat Empire 6-3 in that first match in S&D, and the only S&D they played in that series. Then they went down to play LA Gorillas, and they 6-0'd LA Gorillas in Arclog S&D, which was just a hot 6-0.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
And that's been like LA Gorillas' best S&D map this year, probably.
Well, Gorillas was supposed to be like the
good S&D team.
They're not good at anything, but they're pretty good. They're decent at S&D.
Right, and in that series,
they're competitive.
LAG
they got beat by Paris.
Yeah, well, LAG won the hard point. And we're like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then Paris 6-0'd him in S&D, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, what just happened?
Yeah, so that was nuts. So then now they're 2-0 in S&D. Then Legion play Subliners, 3-0 the Subliners. Now they're 3-0 in S&D. They beat them 6-2 on Petro.
Yeah.
So they've been dominant in S&D so far, 6-3, 6-0, and 6-2. Then they go play the Royal Ravens. They win both their S&Ds in round 11, 6-5, 6-5.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lose 6-1 to Dallas in the finals on Gunrunner.
Yeah. Dallas just stomped them.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I don't know if these teams were playing bad. Like, what was going on? Like, I have no idea. I don't want to say any of them are cheating, but the fact that we got these new rules implemented, all of a sudden, I don't know. Mac Melts wasn't showing up. No one's showing up. It's like they're supposed to show up.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about
that. Not calling them out. Don't roast them. I'm just taking a take.
Yeah, the grand finals, I mean, they replayed Gunrunner S&D from their first week. They played Gunrunner S&D in that first matchup, and Paris won it 6-3, and then they play it again, and then Empire wins it 6-1.
Right.
So they learned some things over the time. And Paris also had just played Gunrunner S&D against London.
Mm-hmm.
So Dallas did have a lot of footage to go off of Paris's Gunrunner. Not just how they played them, but then also how they played London. So I'm surprised Paris was willing to play Empire again on Gunrunner.
Yeah, true. But I feel like Dallas wasn't even like preparing for Paris.
I mean, not until the grand finals.
But I mean, how much time do they have? They see Paris beat Ravens, then they got to play. So like they didn't have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they had like an hour and
I'm
an
sure
hour and
Rambo
a half,
was probably analyzing, came in, gave him like a quick 15-minute talk, like, okay, here's how Paris is doing this. Boom.
Right.
But I don't know. That's crazy.
No,
I don't know how Paris did it.
Yeah, it is crazy. But it's just like overall the whole weekend. Obviously, the biggest like fiasco or the whole drama was with the Seattle hardpoint forfeit, which was, I mean, unfortunate to say the least. In the second match of the day, it was Seattle versus London, and it was map 4, the Petro hardpoint, and it was a 2-1 series, and Seattle was winning about, depending on when you count when Slack lagged out, between 15 and 30 points. They had a lead.
Yeah, they were about tied, but yeah.
It was under 30, but they did have a lead. And they did have, I think they had the rotation to new, so they were set up to be in a pretty good spot moving forward, and Slack lagged out. Mm-hmm. And, it was actually, funny enough, it was during the listen-in, and, you can hear them.
You could hear him
say, yo, I think Jerry's lagging out.
Yeah.
And there he goes. He lags out, and I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, Octane went off on Twitter. He ranted and obviously got a massive fine.
Probably.
I mean, he later on, Scraps asked him, and he replied with just don't talk, don't say anything, don't do it.
Yeah.
So, what are your bets? Do you think that the fines increase over time?
I bet there's higher fines for
the more fines you get.
Multiple offenses. I bet there is.
Yeah, because that's how it works in most other sports.
Yeah, it's more offenses, the more the more they're gonna raise their fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it was absolutely insane. Well, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, after the whole situation, obviously there's no ideal situation or no ideal outcome because there needs to be a pause function, and that's why the pause function exists in esports.
Yeah,
is for those types of situations, and especially online, when those disconnects are so likely. Mm-hmm. It just sucks that there isn't a pause function, and so they decided to forfeit Seattle for the map, which cost them the series.
I mean, they didn't forfeit; they finished the map, right?
Well, they finished out the map 4-5, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you're not going to win.
Yeah. They finished out the map 4-5, which, they're not going to win, but I mean, definitely, it just, you really need a pause function. The fact that Call of Duty has not implemented it, and, it's just, why? It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how hard it is to code something like that, I guess, but every other legitimate esport has a pause function.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, they didn't implement the pause function finally this year for LAN,
but not online.
No, of course.
Which is
of course not.
Why can't you just put that online?
I know. Obviously, there's some sort of backdoor coding situation.
Yeah, there must be something weird there because I feel like Activision would force them to do it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like you couldn't have them forfeit that map because if you do, it's just so many things that people could just go unplug their modem or router and then boom, you're DC'd, and then you got to restart the map because you see that you're down. You lost.
I'm not sure why there's it has to be a hard set rule every single time. Why can't you let them make the decision? Is there ill intent behind this disconnect?
You want the players to make the decision?
No, not the players.
Oh,
the CoD League. Is there ill intent? Is this guy trying to cheat?
Make it more subjective.
Make it more subjective?
But it would work in this case.
Because obviously they weren't trying to cheat.
Yeah, because they were ahead, they had rotations, but...
And there's no kill streaks?
It sets a standard for the future where it's people will just start roasting the COD League if something doesn't go their way. It's your team happens, it's oh, why didn't they reset it for this one, but they didn't reset it for this one? And it's that becomes a whole lot of drama, I feel that it's hard to, you can't.
But there's already drama.
Yeah, but you have to regulate it somehow. At least we know when that happens, the game's going to finish. That's just what's going to happen.
It sucks.
It sucks, but that's just what's going to happen.
But then Octane brought up the point, what if someone was gets hit offline, and the other team pays someone to hit them offline.
It takes a lot more.
That takes a lot of effort.
It takes a lot more to do
possible.
that, and that's way harder to do than going unplug router.
Yes, but at the same time, opposing teams would know where certain players live and be able to have access to that information. If you really wanted to go that dirty, you could. Which is a little scary.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like it's easier to find something out like that. But I guess I don't know. Of course, that can happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more plausible that someone's going to just go unplug their router in the heat of the moment than set up a hacker before the game. You'd have to hire
just in case.
You'd have to hire a hacker for just in case the game even started.
Well, in case. Well, you would do it for the first hard point or something, a guaranteed okay, they forfeit that map type situation.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So
I mean, if players are legitimately worried that there might be orgs out there that are willing to DDoS other teams.
Yeah, it's like
Although it's
a
more
lot of
about like
links.
maybe if a player, if like a fan is doing it, it's probably what he's more worried about. If like a fan can figure out where someone lives and DDoS them, and
yeah, I don't know, but I think it's more plausible that someone is going to get in the heat of the moment, get up and just unplug their router. Their router's probably right next to their desk that you wouldn't.
It may not be on the
unplug it.
camera. Yeah.
You just easily reach over, unplug it, DC. All right, got to reset the map. So I think it's more likely that would happen than someone premeditated DDoSing.
Yeah.
You know,
premeditated DDoSing.
yeah.
Life sentence. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I obviously like Clayster and like Adam Epicella were kind of on that same boat. It's like, what are you gonna do? You know, there needs to be a pause function. That's really where they were all at with it.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So that's just not ideal. Obviously, then the other like thing with like connection and problems like that was like OpTic complaining about their connection, because like Slasher tweeted out a screenshot, which I would imagine you get fined for this type of stuff. Is he tweeted out a screenshot of him having 102 ping and 76% packet loss during a match, which, you know, again, it's ironic because 4 of the Paris players live in Los Angeles and they made the grand finals.
Yeah.
Of course, then they did play Dallas on Dallas servers in the grand final, which is what Clayster talked about. Like he tweeted like, this is really unfortunate for Paris. After he like literally tweeted after they won. This is really unfortunate for Paris. Like, you know, we vetoed the LA servers because duh. Yeah. And then they vetoed the Illinois servers because it's worse for them than the Dallas ones.
Wow.
So they had to play on Dallas. Those are the 3 options: Illinois, Dallas, or
LA.
Or LA.
LA, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just like, what's the play? Because like Hook lives in Chicago. So like, you know, it's more advantageous for Dallas to play on Illinois than for Paris. So it's like
more advantageous for Dallas anyway.
Yeah. So it's like,
are those the only 3 servers
on the like? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Slasher's been complaining this whole year.
Well, I don't know. Get
There's
out of
valid
LA.
reasons.
You can play for LA. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, again, that's what I would do. I would be leaving.
Yeah.
I mean,
go to Dallas.
Get in your car, drive to Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, find someone to live with in Dallas. Hit up Scump.
Yeah.
Live in his basement. Like, who knows? Pay Scump some rent. But I don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of ridiculous. But it's one of like, what are you gonna do? Like, I guess they could build more servers, but like, how much are they gonna invest in something like
a temporary online league?
Yeah. Yeah. How much are they gonna invest in a temporary online league?
Yeah. So that's the bigger question. Like, it just sucks so bad overall. Like, that's just so unfortunate. I mean, other thoughts about the event as a whole? I mean, we're going to talk more about the other teams when we get into our predictions here. And then we're going to talk about, like, MVPs and of season MVPs and Rookie of the Year conversation move into these last few events here. So, I mean, any other thoughts on, like, the other squads here? You know, Seattle, I mean, Proto, Pander,
They looked like normal Seattle stuff.
Yeah.
The subliners looked weaker than normal. I wonder if that's going to continue. Dallas looked incredibly strong. Florida, don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
Are they weaker now?
That's what's tough. I don't know. I mean, they didn't look as good. They definitely didn't.
No, they lost 0-3 to, or was it 0-3 to Paris?
No,
they didn't play Paris.
They lost 3-0 to New York.
Yeah.
Or maybe not New York, to Empire. And they were down 2-0. They were up 2-0 on OpTic and then almost got reverse swept in round 11 to OpTic.
So it was just a bad event for a lot of these teams. Like, the question is, why did Paris make it so far?
Yeah.
They knocked out New York. They knocked out...
And, like, you look at how they performed
Ravens.
in respawns, and, like, statistically, nothing impressive about their stats and respawns. It was literally just their S&Ds and how they were playing S&D for the most part.
I don't know. Maybe
and they were stealing DOMs.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the teams might have just been playing... I don't know.
Like, here are the KDs for Paris versus the KDs for Dallas, all right, on the event. Okay? Dens, 0.99. Kismet, 0.83. Luca, 0.87. Shocks, 0.95. Zed, 0.89.
None of them had a positive KD, and they still made it to the grand finals.
Yes. Now, Dallas, Clay, 1.23. Krim, 1.15. Hook, 1.25. Illy, 1.2. Shotzzy, 1.29.
Jeez.
Absolutely insane.
They all crushed it.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's the best KDs for a team. It has to be the best KDs of the whole year for a team.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe like FaZe early on in the year, potentially like at one of their events.
Maybe.
But I don't even know if that's the case. So that was insane.
Do you think? I think Team Meta just played bad. If Dallas was like excelling that much,
yeah,
and Paris made it as far as they did, you've got to assume the other teams were just playing bad.
Which is just so weird. I mean, Dallas did it play to Dallas's advantage. They didn't have to compete on the old meta. Like they kind of like avoided the old meta in a way, and like they held out for a while.
Yeah,
even before the last tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
I feel like they're not really. I mean, like, of course you consider the meta, but like, I think Dallas is going to be good either way.
Yeah,
I don't know,
especially with Krim like rededicating time to practice and
right. I don't understand. Like, I don't know how much effect the meta actually has on like these
when it's that type of change.
When these drastic of changes is like that's not just the meta happening.
Yeah.
Like from New York to being like a really top team to losing 0-3 to Paris, it's like that cannot be a meta change.
Just the 10 millimeter.
Yeah, that cannot just be the 10 millimeter meta change. Like,
right.
It just doesn't make sense. You at least would be closer. At least, like.
Yeah, I mean that first hard point against Paris was really really close in that 3-0 for New York. It was like 250, 240 something, and like New York had the lead for most of the game. Like they shouldn't have lost it, and then they blew it, and maybe they just lost composure. Maybe it was because the temp lost full composure, and then they got 3-0'd. Like, that might have been what it was.
Yeah, I mean, everyone underestimates Paris.
And then Paris is hyped because they just beat.
You could tell Paris, like, when they started on their roll, they were so, like, you could see that their gameplay started getting more and more cracked.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, I was so happy to see them get to the grand finals. Like, when they beat the Ravens, right? The Ravens again, and then, like, everyone was so happy. They're, like, standing up, like, yes. Oh, it warmed my heart so much. I felt so happy,
especially since you've been a Royal Ravens hater.
Oh, dude,
and you love Paris.
I'm not a Royal Ravens hater.
You're a Royal Ravens hater.
They're overrated. But yeah, just to see Paris like so happy, like they
those
like,
S&Ds were
worked
nuts.
there. Like everyone underestimates Paris. Everyone's like, "Oh, Paris are losers," and like,
well, they've been losers.
Yeah, like everyone just thinks they're losers. They're like, "Oh, they're from the Australia scene. Oh, they're like the bad Europeans. Like they're people nobody cares about." And the fact that they went as far as they did was just heartwarming.
I mean, they have not been having. I mean, the past like 3 months have been rough for Paris.
Yeah, they had a good first LAN event, I think.
Yeah,
right?
first two.
Yeah, they did better than people thought. I shouldn't say it was good, but it was better than people thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because they made the semis at the London event.
Yeah.
Oh, ironic. Yeah, they made the semis at London. The first London event. So they made semis twice in the London event.
Wow.
Well, in the finals in the second one. So
yeah,
pretty lit. But do you want to move on to predictions?
Move on to predictions.
Let's do it, baby. Prediction time. We're back at it again, baby. We are deciding who is the best in the game for CDL Toronto. And this tournament is, I mean, the definition of stack. Like if you're going to Wendy's and you're ordering the double stack 4 for 4, like you're getting the quadruple stack for this one, baby. It is absolutely loaded. In Group A, we've got the weak side. Oh, we've got Chicago versus Surge, Ultra versus LA OpTic. Then you've got the group of death in Group B, Atlanta FaZe, Minnesota Rocker, and Florida Mutineers and Dallas Empire. So debatably 3 of the top 4 teams right now in Group B, and then you got Chicago with Surge, Ultra, and OpTic.
Chicago, how lucky can you get for the last tournament? They get the
most
best
important
bracket.
tournament.
Like, oh my gosh.
I mean, the fact that these were set preseason and we have 4 of the top 5 teams in this tournament is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would have expected Surge to be better. I mean, I guess you would have expected OpTic to be better too. So
I think maybe they purposely stacked this one.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect Florida to be like that.
Yeah, true.
Honestly. You wouldn't expect Minnesota to be.
But they did put
there.
Dallas, FaZe, and Chicago all here, which we all thought they were going to be nasty. So
yeah,
they were banking on this one being a pretty stacked bracket, and they were right for sure. So this is I don't know about you, but this is probably like maybe the most difficult tournament to predict. Like based off of how we've seen so many different teams win the past few weeks here, and with how stacked that Group B is. It could go anyway.
Group B is a tough one for
Yeah.
sure. Oh yeah, Group B is really tough.
Here's the bracket, by the way, guys. Sorry, everyone on YouTube. There it is. Okay. Let's start off here. I got to fill in Rex's here because he does not have a computer.
Mm-hmm.
He forgot it. Man. But, all right, Chicago Surge. I mean, right, we're all going to Chicago here, right?
Chicago.
Sam did not fill out his bracket, by the way, so
Chi-town.
Sam sucks.
Sam probably picked Surge.
Sam definitely picked Surge.
Yeah.
For sure. So, yeah, I mean, if the Surge win this one, now that would be something.
It's so weird. I still feel like Surge is gonna do something. Like I just feel like we're still waiting for the one tournament that like they come back and like that just have their miracle tournament.
Yeah.
And this is the last one, so it's got to be this one, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, real quick before we actually get into the
champs, but
yeah, before we get into predictions, actually, I wanted to talk about like what this means for champs.
Okay.
Because like it actually is pretty crazy. So let's look at the standings real quick here. So right now we're sitting, as you guys see on YouTube there, we're sitting at a pretty stacked top, and this tournament means a lot for a handful of teams. So obviously FaZe is at 250 points, Dallas is at 240, Florida's at 220, Chicago's at 220. Then you've got New York at 140, London at 120, Rocker at 120, Paris at 100. All right, so that's the top 8. Obviously, the top 8 start in winners, and the bottom 4 start in losers. You do not want to start losers. That's bad for everyone, and not what you want. You want to at least have a shot to stay in the winner's side of things.
Paris is getting in top 8. That's crazy.
And so right now, Paris, because of their run here, was a top 8. So it's like OpTic needs to win at least 2 to have a chance. Supposedly the tiebreakers are head-to-head. If I click on this, maybe that'll show me. Head-to-head win percentage. So that's the tiebreakers, first of all. And if you're like 2-2 or something, then you have head-to-head game win percentage. So really it all comes down to your head-to-head performances. So OpTic needs to win 2 matches here to tie Paris and have a chance with that tiebreaker.
Yeah. I mean, possible.
And I think they would probably have the tiebreaker. I think they haven't. I'd imagine they'd have the tiebreaker because if OpTic's played, I'm pretty sure OpTic's beat Paris a few times. So
yeah, I don't even know if it's possible for Surge to catch up unless Surge went all the way.
I mean, Surge would literally have to win the event.
Yeah, to tie Paris.
Yeah, to tie Paris.
To get that winner's side. Yeah.
So pretty unlikely. Toronto. I mean, you're looking for 3 wins, which is not impossible. Based off their bracket, especially. All they got to do is beat. They've got to beat LA OpTic, then beat presumably the Surge if they lose to Chicago, or LA OpTic again.
Yeah.
To win 2, and then you got to upset either Florida, Dallas, Atlanta, or Minnesota to make a final. So not ideal, but possible.
Definitely possible.
Not likely. And then the top is where it's really, really juicy and where there's a lot of potential outcomes here with what could happen. So we'll switch back here. Basically looking at this, I mean, again, FaZe is at 250 points, Dallas is at 240 points, and then Chicago and Florida are at 220 points. You're looking to finish top 2 because top 2 puts you basically 3 wins away from the championship, which is insane.
Right.
And so there's a lot of different situations here that could potentially play out. Obviously, you know, if you're Chicago and Florida, you're looking for FaZe to go 0-2 and for you to make the finals. So you got to do that to tie FaZe.
Yeah.
Which at that point, Florida would not have the tiebreaker over FaZe. Chicago would have the tiebreaker over FaZe because they've only faced off once and they 3-0'd them.
Chicago beat them, yeah.
So you would need FaZe to go 0-2, which is unlikely with how this bracket's looking here.
No, I mean, I don't know. I can see it.
A Minnesota Rocker upset? I mean, they are the team that's been the kind of the bane of FaZe this year.
I can see a Rocker upset, yeah. It's not impossible.
So if FaZe wins 1 and then loses to, you know, if they win 1, they beat Minnesota, then they lose to either Florida or Dallas, then either Florida or Chicago has to win the tournament.
Yeah.
Which is very possible as well. So
more than likely, yeah.
It's very likely that at least have a chance to.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Of course, Dallas, to maintain their top 2 spot, they just got to outplace
Florida and Chicago.
Or if they even equally place them, then they'll be good.
Even against Chicago?
if Chicago and Huntsman, if Chicago and Dallas both made finals and Chicago won, that would displace them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you're Dallas, you can't have Chicago win the event.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not sure where Dallas and Florida are at with head-to-head matchups.
I don't know either.
It's got to be close.
How many times did they even play?
Not a ton.
Can't be a lot.
Maybe earlier on in the year, potentially.
Yeah, when Florida wasn't so good, so I have to assume Chicago was beating them.
Or Dallas was beating them. Yeah, I would have to look that up real quick, but I'm honestly not sure. So, yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. So, like, that's why this means a lot for a lot of these teams right here. And so Dallas did 3-0 them early on in the year. I'm looking at this right now. Dallas 3-0'd them earlier on in the year. Then Dallas did not play them. Then Surge wasn't there. It's got to be pretty close. Dallas was not there as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, let's go back to the bracket here. Whoops. No, not the standings. There you go. So, I think that tiebreaker is really, really close because then, but if Chicago I'm imagining if Dallas just 3-0'd them again, they should be good with the tiebreakers there.
Probably, yeah.
So, I think I'm imagining the Empire's really only way to get dethroned would be as if Chicago wins the tournament and or Dallas goes 0-2, which is possible with how this lines up, I guess.
Yeah.
But more than likely, they would only get 10 points. They'd beat the Rocker and then lose to FaZe or Florida again. So.
Yeah. FaZe is pretty hard stuck up there, I think.
Yeah, FaZe is in a pretty good spot.
They'd have to really mess up.
They'd have to go 0-2, and then Chicago and Florida would have to meet in the finals. Or no, Chicago and Dallas would have to meet in the finals.
Yeah, okay.
For FaZe to be dethroned, I think. And then Dallas and then Florida and Chicago would have to win.
Then Chicago would have to win, because then that would...
Yeah, that would dethrone them. So if Chicago won and Dallas, if they played Dallas, that's how that would work.
Yeah.
And FaZe wouldn't be able to, and FaZe would have to lose and not get out of the group.
Yeah.
So that's possible though.
Really, it is. It's not the most far-fetched thing ever.
No, I mean it would be them losing to Empire, or it would be them beating Rocker and then losing to whoever wins between the Empire and Mutineers, and then losing to whoever to like either the Mutineers or Empire again.
Right.
So very possible. Very, very possible. But all right, let's get into the predictions here. I wanted to kind of establish like the importance of this tournament because I think it's kind of fun.
Especially for those top teams, yeah.
And let's go. So we did both pick Chicago here. So Ultra versus LA OpTic is the other match in Group A. Kind of interesting. I mean, it depends what you think about Hollow and Draza and how this team plays and where you're at with like the Ultra roster right now. I mean, who you got?
I honestly think I'm gonna go with OpTic for this one.
Ooh.
I'm taking a chance just because based on the like hype people have been building around this new roster, Hollow and Draza are also, this was their first tournament with the team.
And they played twice against Florida.
Yeah, and they're new to the roster. And they're, they're one of those AM players that hopefully both of them are going to be gods at some point, like Mack Melts and Awakening.
Yeah.
So like I am holding out hope that that's what would happen with that team. And I think they can beat Ultra because I don't know what Ultra has.
I mean, they beat FaZe last tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra's got chemistry, maybe, but maybe if OpTic can build that, just build their chemistry up before this next tournament, I feel like OpTic can take it. And plus, people have been scared of OpTic.
Yeah.
Now.
I don't know. I really liked how Toronto played last time they were out there. I mean, with Classic back in the starting lineup, I think I'm going to take the Ultra and roll the dice there with them. I mean,
do you think Classic plays?
I would imagine they're going to stick with the roster they played with last time.
So Metals is out.
I would imagine, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if, because last time they made, the semifinals? Yeah, they made the semifinals and got 3-0'd by New York, who ended up winning the event, who 3-0'd the Huntsman. So, and Toronto was coming off a win against FaZe, and they beat Paris. So, I don't know. I would imagine Toronto's going to be in a pretty good spot, and I'm feeling good about that. I'm going to take them over OpTic. So, can't talk. That lines up our second round matchup here, Chicago Ultra and Chicago OpTic. So, who you got in that one?
So, yeah, for Chicago OpTic, for mine, going who advances, Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I could see OpTic taking it if they're as good as people are hyping them out to be. If they do beat Ultra as handedly as I'm kind of hoping they do, or I'm thinking they will.
Yeah.
I could see it happening, but I think Chicago will take it.
That'd be pretty surprising.
I think it would be pretty surprising. Hollow and Draza would have to make a really swift change from what this tournament they just last played in, because they didn't have a bad debut.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good one.
No, it was by no means like insane.
It was incredibly average.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be slightly better for this next tournament.
How do you feel like with OpTic? I guess we never really asked. Like, how do you feel about them compared to the past roster with Dashy and Chino? I mean,
Dashy out is fine. I think TJ should be out.
Right.
And I think I think TJ should be out. I think Hollow and Draza coming in is fine and keep Chino in.
I mean, like,
I would have liked to see that
improved though.
No. I mean, I don't know. Like, this last tournament was so hard to say because
they haven't made a final this year with the previous roster.
Yeah, I know, but they just added 2 new people. Like, just added them. So
right,
they're new. They don't. You have to get used to it.
Some of the other moves we've seen this year, where they added someone and immediately you saw that they were insane.
Yeah, but these were 2 people they added.
Yeah, which is different. It is a whole different.
Not just one person.
For sure.
They have to, hold new.
And they weren't replacing some trash can player. They were replacing Dashy.
Okay, we act like Dashy was some great player this year. He wasn't that great of a player this year.
If you replace one guy with insane gun skill with another guy with insane gun skill,
yeah,
the only difference is that one positions himself way better. So, like, that's where, like,
yeah, I don't think TJ should be in.
I agree.
I think he's an idiot. Like, not to be mean, but, like, I don't think he's, like, a smart player. And, like,
right.
I think Chino would have been a better fit to put in there for TJ, at least, because, the minute they put Chino in, that team did so well.
They went to a final.
Kenny Quavo, he played way better than he was before. It looks like he started caring a little bit more. Slasher started playing way better. Slasher is actually like a good player now.
Right.
That people expect to kind of start popping off. So I think keeping Chino, you keep both those guys happy. TJ was not doing anything. TJ has never done anything for that team
this whole season.
That's been that's been noticeably important.
It's crazy.
Unless they call him the OBJ, but I don't even think that works.
I know. I mean, I've held out hope that like that talent would come out at some point, but it just hasn't. At this point,
TJ's been overrated his whole career. All
right. I mean, hey, I have the Toronto Ultra matchup. I'm still feeling pretty good about Chicago. I mean, I have the Chicago versus Ultra matchup. Feeling pretty good about Chicago as well. I mean, I'm really liking Chicago going to this event. I've had some big time struggles with Chicago later on in this tournament with how I want to place them, but I'm feeling pretty confident Chicago's going to be able to take this one and come out shooting on cylinders, considering how important this tournament is for their seeding at champs and everything else. So,
yeah, put up the bracket.
Oh, yes, I will. So we are right there. Wallabam. And you've got Surge versus Ultra. I've got Surge versus OpTic in the losers bracket here. Who you got?
I got to go with Ultra. I really want to go with Surge. I really do.
It's impossible.
Everything in there is like, Surge has got to do something. They got Octane. They got Slack.
It's never going to happen.
They got these names. But every single time, they fail me.
Yep.
So, I can't do it, especially this last tournament. They can't say that there's not enough time. Like, this is the last one. So, it's got to be Ultra.
I mean, they did get totally screwed by the forfeit.
I think they would have lost anyways, to be honest. But
I mean, it's very possible they would have lost anyway.
The whole series.
and what, they're going to bank on winning a Search and Destroy? When do they ever win Search and Destroys?
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
Although Ravens,
they're not, I mean, they've been inconsistent, especially with the Search and Destroys.
Speaking of Ravens, I feel like Scraps is doing way better than Wuskin.
Oh, he had an insane event.
Yeah.
No, him and Wuskins had good events, though.
Yeah, I feel like Wuskins has kind of fallen off. Like, Wuskins is still good, but I feel like Scraps is now the better player.
This was Wuskins' best event in a minute, though. He had an awesome event. Let me pull it up real quick, because he dominated. Statistically, they were insane.
Yeah.
Scraps had a 1.23, Wuskins had a 1.26.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. But this was by far Scraps' best event of the whole season.
Yeah.
He was insane.
Maybe that's what I was noticing then. Because I was I noticed Scraps way more than I used to. And
he went that one map where he started off 12-0 in, was that Dom?
Yes, maybe that's what I'm taking into account. Because like Wuskins, I guess, maybe that's typical Wuskins. So, like, he wasn't surprising me. Maybe that's what was happening then.
Which was crazy. So, yeah, good point though.
Mm-hmm.
Scraps was going off. All right. So what do we got next? We got you've got Ultra there, and which makes the Ultra versus OpTic rematch happening for you right there. And I've got the Ultra versus OpTic rematch as well. Nice.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
I think I'm gonna do. If I have OpTic winning that first one,
Do you think OpTic can double down?
who's the coach of Ultra? Marky B, right?
That sounds right.
But
I think so. I should know
Do we know
this.
OpTic's coach yet? Have they come out with that?
With the new coach?
I think it's gonna come down to a coaching thing here.
Really?
I mean, that's where my mind heads. It's gonna come down to coaching. I don't know how good. I mean, Ultra's been getting consistently better.
Yeah.
If a good coach will prepare their team for this second match.
Their strategic coach is Marky B.
Who's OpTic's coach? Have they even
Right
announced
now?
it? It was Pac-Man, but then after that,
I honestly don't know
been
if
a
they.
secret.
I don't think they have one right now. Right?
Maybe not.
If I remember right, they don't have one right now.
I think I'm gonna go with Ultra.
Really?
I think so. I think Ultra's been consistently improving. I think the second time around against a team that beat them, I think Marky B can prepare the team mentally and get them ready for it.
Yeah.
I put a lot of stock in these coaches. I feel like they have an impact, and I feel like this could be one of those cases.
That's interesting. I don't know. This is tough. I mean, so yeah, because you had OpTic wins first one, Ultra wins the second. I have Ultra winning the first one. Does Ultra win the second? It's not easy.
No,
I kind of want to take OpTic, but then that makes no sense. I'm gonna double down on Ultra. I actually think I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go with Ultra as well. So that we both have Chicago and Ultra going through.
I think Kleenex can pop off. I think it's gonna be Kleenex that pops off.
So we both have so we both have Chicago and Ultra going through, which means now heading down to Group B here, and this is where it gets a little spicy, really spicy. I mean Atlanta versus Minnesota here. Where are you at with this?
Oh man, how good is Atlanta now?
That's the question.
You know,
again, they didn't look great on the 9 millimeter meta.
But now we're back to the 10 millimeter, which is
but the event before that, they were good.
Yeah, I mean,
but they weren't great.
We've been waiting for Minnesota. Every event's like, or that they go to is like, this is Minnesota's time to shine. They're gonna be super strong, and then they go in. It's always something happens.
Right. Because at the
that
previous
doesn't
event,
work out.
At the previous event before the meta change, FaZe beat New York 3-2, then they lost to Toronto 3-2, then they beat New York 3-2, then they beat Dallas 3-2, then they got 3-0 by Florida. Now it was in the just absolute smoke show on.
Yeah.
In that finals.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I gotta go FaZe. I think Minnesota Rocker. I think I said this before is like just online. I think affects them too much. That GodRx. I think he needs that crowd hype behind him, and he doesn't have that.
Something about online just is not clicking with Rocker, and I think that has to be a big factor at this point.
Yeah, I mean everyone was rooting for Rocker. Kind of. They got Gary V guy. Yeah, they got all that,
and the underdog roster just as a whole.
The underdog roster.
Silly's so likable.
Then GodRx got that. He popped off in that first one. They got the Minnesota crowd changed. Like now GodRx is like, I'm really good. They go to events. People are cheering for the Rocker for them, and they've never experienced that. But now they're in their bedrooms, no sounds. So yeah. I think FaZe will just take it.
I agree, and I think FaZe has something to prove this event, and they're playing for the top 2 spot. They have a lot to play for this event.
Yeah,
and they're going to be coming out shooting on all cylinders.
Kind of. Yeah, you're right. They need to at least go and take Dallas down.
Yeah, I mean they're feeling more comfortable than like Chicago, Florida, and Huntsman, obviously. But
yeah, it's going to be tough to take Atlanta out of that top 2 spot.
Yeah. So next up is Florida versus Dallas here. This is a fun one. Yeah. Obviously, a rematch of the semifinals here from just the last weekend. I mean, of this most recent weekend. Of course, Dallas 3-0'd Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, do you expect the same?
I do.
Really?
I think they played them on both metas already, right?
Yeah.
And I think in the most current meta, Dallas stomped them. So, and I think Dallas looked really, really good. I think it's going to be the same thing. I don't even think Florida looked like they were playing terribly. Like Awakening was kind of pulling the numbers he was supposed to. Fero was sort of pulling the numbers he was supposed to. So Havoc didn't though.
Yeah.
So I don't know what maybe. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I never really thought super highly of Havoc as a player. He definitely has impressed me, but then this tournament, I was like, that's the Havoc I remember.
I mean, it wasn't even that close of it wasn't even a close series.
Yeah,
I mean, they beat him 251-64 on Gunrunner Hardpoint. Then they beat him 6-1 on Piccadilly. That was a smoke show. They absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah.
They picked him apart on Piccadilly. And then Hackney Dom was a 24-point game. So it's like it wasn't that close.
Yeah, and Dom is supposed to be Florida's best.
Especially Hackney.
Yeah, especially Hackney Dom.
Or no, Petro is
Florida's bread and butter, but
bread and butter, yeah.
Florida lost to Paris, so
or to London.
London.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the same boat. I mean, with how good Dallas looked.
Dallas was solid.
They looked so good. And so it's like, I just don't know how much can change in a week, but at the same time, like, obviously Dallas was playing with a chip on their shoulder in that Florida match. So maybe, but with so much on the line here again, like, I expect the best out of every single team.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's why when the most is on the line, you pick the team that has the most veterans that you trust the most, and I trust Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I'm at with that one, with that matchup for sure. So, all right, that sets up that round. Atlanta-Dallas. Absolute smoke show of a match as well. Jeez. Who you got?
Oh, this is so hard because, like, yeah, we're back with FaZe, whereas now they have the 10mm. You got Simp.
They beat him last time they played.
You got Simp back on the SMG more than likely. You got... It's tough, but Dallas looks really good.
It looks really good.
But FaZe has been falling short consistently these past tournaments, so I think I'm going to go with Dallas again.
Really?
Yeah, because as we know, FaZe have now been kind of like shown their weakness of being stupid.
Yeah.
So like Dallas is not a stupid team. Dallas is a very smart team, and now that they're able to kind of slay and they're smart, I mean, FaZe has lost to people just because FaZe is stupid. They've lost to worse teams because that team was just smarter. Yeah. So I think that's what's really going to happen here.
I think when like Atlanta got exposed against Huntsman, like they're gonna hit the draw. They hit the draw. I would hope they hit the drawing board really hard.
Yeah, but they get in their heads too much. Like that's where I'm at with it. Is like they have tried to fix it, and you could tell that they're trying to play like smart. But these players are like so young and so like they can't play smart and play like they do because they get too much in their heads.
Yeah, then they lose some of that little cracked edge.
Cracked edge, like because now they have to think about stuff and they're not used to thinking about things. They're used to just doing it. That's what made them so good as Slayers. But so I think Dallas is gonna win because of that.
I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Atlanta to rebound here and prove that they are the favorite going into champs, and I'm feeling good about Atlanta, especially in that one, beating Dallas like that. I think they'll be coming out playing their best COD. That is definitely the match I'm most excited for this whole weekend. Even like out of any other potential matchup, even like Chicago versus Atlanta or Chicago-Dallas, I'd rather see. I'm excited for the Atlanta-Dallas match the most.
Yeah, for sure. Atlanta-Dallas, I think, is probably my hype match too.
Yeah.
This is my marquee match of the day.
Oh, marquee match of the day, huh? It's presented by
Game Fuel.
No shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Presented by No Free Shout Out. Insert name here.
Yeah.
All right. Losers round here. Florida, Minnesota. I mean, are we gonna really pick against Florida?
No.
I mean, they didn't look their best.
I want the Rocker to win stuff so badly, but
I know it ain't happening.
It's not. I really think it's the online thing. Going with Florida.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there is a glimmer of hope in the world that Florida just was. No. They peaked. They've already peaked.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not confident at all. So you're going Florida for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So that makes the you have Atlanta, Florida, and I have Dallas, Florida, which is now I have the rematch of the semis, and you've got a very fun matchup here.
Yeah.
Who you got?
This is tough. I think we're throwing this whole new meta conversation again.
Yeah.
But Florida was looking strong. Like they beat FaZe, so on that, what's now the new meta, but was the old meta, the 10mm.
Yeah.
I think I gotta go with Florida.
Wow. Oh, that's sad.
If I'm going with like
That's
the
sad.
stupidity argument, I think I'm gonna go with Florida.
Yeah, I'm
Because
really sad.
Florida, I think, is gonna be a smarter team.
I dislike your lack of faith in Atlanta.
I would like to say FaZe go there. I would like to see Dallas and FaZe in Chicago there, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When I have a rematch here, I have Dallas versus Florida again, rematching the first round matchup, which are, at least in my opinion, the toughest matches to pick, because it's like the X factor of like potentially replaying maps, especially in Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
And how that plays out. It's so hard to beat a team twice on the same map, especially in like when teams are potentially that close.
And these are two well-coached teams.
Yeah, teams that I just think play good COD. It's really, really tough. I'm going to put my faith in Dallas, but this could easily go Florida. And I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
At all. But I mean, based off how Dallas looked, they just 3-0'd Florida. They might have figured them out, might have unlocked the code to beating Florida at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I would not be shocked at all if Florida found a way to make that thing work. So
yeah,
that lines up a Chicago-Dallas match for myself and an Atlanta Ultra match. And for you, it lines up a Chicago-Florida match and a Dallas Ultra match in the semifinals.
Yeah.
So different matchups here for us here, which is fun. So you start us off here. You got Chicago-Florida. Fun one. Who you got?
Part of me really wants to do Florida.
Yeah.
It really does, but Chicago usually consistently surprises me. Envoy's a great player. Scump has his moments of just shining.
And it's usually when it matters the most.
Yeah. I'll go with Chicago.
Don't sound too confident now.
Yeah, I'll go Chicago in this one. Chicago just has some sort of magic to them that they win things sometimes. So
this is the analysis we get here, baby. They win things sometimes.
They just like, I feel like everything's like they shouldn't be that good. Like just like
based off how they've been playing.
Yeah, but then when they get to these moments, it's like for some reason somehow they make it far.
Flip the switch.
And they do something. Like something just happens, and other teams play bad. So
yeah,
I think Chicago will take it.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, Dallas here. I mean, Dallas. This kind of feels like
tough one too. That's gonna be a fun match.
That's a fun match. That's a fun match, especially in the semifinals like that.
I'd love to see that happen.
Where like each team needs the points. Like if Chicago wins this, they pass Dallas basically. Like, or maybe not. They would not pass Dallas, or would they pass Dallas? No. They would not pass Dallas, but if they won, they would then pass Dallas.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot is on the line here, and it's a really fun matchup. So
I hope they bring those up, like, during the tournament. It's like, when the matches happens, like, if this team loses this match, this team will go. I hope they bring up those numbers during the tournament.
I would imagine they would.
You have to imagine they would. Like, those are some, like, important numbers to know. And I want to know it consistently, not the end of the day.
Yeah.
I want to know it like when the match is happening, so I know it's a hype match.
I agree. Man, I've struggled to pick the semifinals recently. Like when it comes to like I'll get the semis right, and then I pick the wrong teams.
Right.
This one is a toss up once again, but I have more faith in Chicago. I think. I'm really confident about this one, too. Don't worry. I'm going to take Chicago.
Chicago over Dallas?
Chicago over Dallas.
Okay.
I don't feel good about it.
I wouldn't either.
I don't know, man.
Really?
I mean,
Shotzzy? Who's competing with Shotzzy on that team? And Illy just had a great event. Crim6 is pulling over 1.0. If he consistently... Is he able to play that? Which he acts like he can.
I know. I mean, the last time we saw Chicago, they 3-1 London, then they 3-2 New York, then they 3-0'd FaZe, then they 3-0'd New York. Or then they got 3-0'd by New York. But like they played, and that was because they replayed the same maps.
Yeah, I think Dallas can take it as long as I think it's gonna come down to maybe map picks with that, but I don't know. I mean, Illy had a great event too. Illy kind of came into
reverse on myself. You would, obviously, but you picked Chicago. You picked Chicago to beat Florida.
I would pick Dallas probably for that matchup at the first time.
Yeah. I'm switching, man. I'm switching.
Yeah,
we're going Dallas.
Yes,
I'll be pissed if Chicago wins this.
We convinced them, boys. Let's go.
No. All right, here we go. You've got Dallas Ultra. Obviously, that you're picking Ultra, right? I mean, based off what you just talked about Dallas.
So based on the coaching of Marky B, I feel like they're gonna sub medals back in for Bance.
Yeah.
And Ultra's gonna make a huge turnaround.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
What an upset.
Yep. No, I'm going Dallas for this one.
Shocker. Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward, all right? I mean, I've got Atlanta Ultra. Again, I think at the end of the day, the best teams are going to show up for this tournament and play their best COD, and Atlanta's going to, I would imagine it's going to be a 3-0.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
3-0.
Okay.
Hot fire.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of, I have less faith in FaZe than you do. Like
obviously.
I have FaZe not even making it to the championship bracket.
Yeah.
I feel like FaZe is just like, I don't know, people have figured them out. And I feel like Ultra, again, with the coaching ability, like, I don't know.
I think FaZe just went into the past few weeks a little bit overconfident in their natural ability.
Yeah.
And now they're like, okay, we need to fix some things. Now they're going to be willing to fix the things. And they're going to come out technique down and absolutely frying.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. I don't trust the FaZe. I really don't.
Well, I definitely do.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so you've got Chicago, Dallas, the juicy matchup that we just discussed. And I think I know where you're going with this. And we just talked about this. Big surprise.
Yeah, Chicago, Dallas. This is going to be, especially in the finals.
Oh, the hype around that would be so sick.
The grand final, Chicago, Dallas. That is,
the former champion Dallas versus Chicago. Like
Scum Formal versus Crim6 and Clayster. Like, can't get any bigger names
for the first and second place.
Yeah, whoever wins this
would get second.
Yeah, and so like
that would be
Dallas
so
needs to win it. Chicago needs to win it.
Yeah,
this is like your marquee match of the day, presented to you by Unknown
Battlegrounds.
We don't know free shoutouts. Yeah, I think. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go Dallas.
You have to go Dallas after your argument.
I think I gotta go Dallas again.
Yeah, you do.
I think the coaching's better on Dallas. I don't know if I can say that though. Center's been doing a good job. I can't even deny it. Center's doing a good job with his team.
Yeah,
better than I thought he would do. I don't trust Pristini. If I'm completely honest, I don't trust Pristini against Shotzzy and Illy and Huke.
Well, and Illy, he had by far his best event of the whole year too.
Exactly. Illy turned up, and I feel like I hope it's at a place where it's like they found their
worst
niche.
KD was a 1.15. That's nuts.
And that was Crim6 at a 1.15. So it's like that's like they found their niche. I hope they talk like they did, like at least Crim6 did in his interview. He was like, we stopped playing Warzone. We're just playing the game. We're just grinding. Like we put much more like focus into it than they were before. And it looked like that's exactly what happened. Is like now they're playing way better. And so I doubt that they would stop now, especially since they just won. So they're riding it like we did something right. We know what we did right. They're going to keep moving. So I go with Dallas. Yep.
Or they come in overconfident because they just absolutely fried everyone.
Okay, that
and they fall just a little flat at the end.
No
and Atlanta
way.
beats them, baby. Yes, sir.
Insane, dude.
Atlanta FaZe. I mean, let's be honest. Atlanta FaZe. They're gonna rebound. They're gonna be nasty. I'll be really disappointed in myself if they end up what happens with Europe and they end up losing to Florida. I'll be really disappointed.
I think Dallas is the last
I really
team.
believe in Atlanta.
Dallas is the last team I would think would be overconfident going into it. Especially now. We got Crim6, like he doesn't get over, like he's very much
grounded.
Everyone can beat them. They want to be like that's how his mindset, at least he says it is.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine it is, at least for all of them. You got two vets on, I don't know. I like Dallas.
I mean, Dallas could, I would see this going in Game 5, S&D comes down to that if Atlanta wins it.
Game 5 S&D, you think Atlanta wins that?
Atlanta wins it, baby.
A Game 5
Ice.
S&D?
Ice.
I could see Atlanta maybe like 3-1ing them.
A Game 5 St. Petro S&D.
I don't see an S&D being won by, I mean, maybe. Depends on the map.
It does. I would like Dallas to think more on like Piccadilly or on maybe even on Gunrunner.
Yeah, but didn't Dallas lose to FaZe on Piccadilly?
And I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
No, I don't think they did because Illy was just a better sniper than Simp on that map.
Oh,
that I'm thinking of. But yeah,
that was nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there we are. There you have it, boys. I'll switch it to the screen so you can see the final bracket there. Atlanta, I got Atlanta in Atlanta versus Dallas. Rex has Dallas in a Dallas versus Chicago, with FaZe not even making the semis, and I have Florida not making the semis. So Florida just did not look that good this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man, that's hard. That part of me regrets not putting FaZe there, to be honest, but I don't know. I'm going to keep it. I'm keeping it how it is.
But I mean, maybe Florida rebounds after having the poor tournament. Like, I don't know. I'm just really banking on Atlanta's refocusing and like doing what Dallas just did.
How many times does Atlanta have to refocus though?
Well, how many times did Dallas have to refocus? It took them a while.
But they got there.
Think about how much Warzone freaking FaZe has been playing. They're the record holders in every single Warzone record.
Looks like they're playing a lot of Warzone. It looks like they're getting a lot worse.
Yeah, now they're going to stop playing Warzone and fry.
All right. Well, can Priesta do that? Can Priesta actually start frying now? Priesta's been not very good. As good as we think Priesta should be.
It's been tough. I know. It's been real tough. But let's transition to our final discussion of the day here, which is the MVP and Rookie of the Year discussion.
Okay.
That we want to have like right here at the end. Where are you at with this? I mean, MVP, obviously kind of Shotzzy and Cellium have already been announced as nominees for the MVP. They're going to be announcing, I would imagine, a few more here. Likely it would be like maybe Skyz, Envoy, Mack, kind of come to mind off the top of the head as teams who've won tournaments and, the Slayers and probably the best players on those
Fero?
teams. Maybe Fero. Maybe you could like have another Huntsman in there. Maybe you could like justify like Arcides or something.
No.
Probably Envoy. You'd imagine it's Envoy.
Okay.
I mean, Envoy MVP, though? I mean, I'm sure you're on that boat.
I mean, Envoy could be nominated. Will he get it? I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, knowing you, I would imagine you're on the Shotzzy MVP bandwagon at this point.
I think Shotzi's proven himself. Even Chino was saying he'd rather play with Shotzzy, who he's never played with before.
Yeah.
When he wanted to make his dream team, Shotzzy was on it. He's never played with Shotzzy.
Oh, no. Shotzi's only played COD for a year.
He doesn't even know who Shotzzy is, and he's already that scared of him. He's like, I'd rather have him on my team.
Yeah.
He didn't pick Mack Melts. He didn't pick Envoy. He didn't pick these other players. He picked Shotzzy.
You know who he should have picked? He should have picked Cellium, because I think Cellium's the MVP. He's just been straight nasty. I mean, I get it.
He's been nasty, but he has his moments where he kind of falters, where Shotzzy, he faltered at the beginning. Hard.
Yeah.
But once he found his groove, Shotzzy has been
nuts
every single event.
I mean, I can't deny that.
The rest of his team has been like, they'll go bad, they'll do good, but he's been consistently just on top every time. He's been the best in the lobby every time.
Yeah.
Arguably, maybe not against FaZe, but they don't. How many times have they played FaZe when Shotzi's been hot? So,
yeah, it is crazy. I mean, am I convinced? It could easily be Shotzzy, and it might come down to this tournament. Like, this tournament might decide it, and like that's kind of like the fun of it too. Is like, if FaZe outplaces Dallas, or if Dallas outplaces FaZe, or if like Envoy and the Huntsman just dominate, or if the Mutineers come out and just like 3-0 everybody in that group, and then they come out and win this tournament. Now you're suddenly like, all right, Skyz, Fero, Awakening. There might be too many cooks in the kitchen for them.
Yeah, but it's also you want to consider like if someone came like halfway through the year, like Awakening, where he just kind of came later in the season. It's like, how much credit do you give to that?
Right.
Especially since Shotzi's been here since the beginning. He's probably played more tournaments at a high level than Awakening. So like, how time tested does somebody have to be?
Yeah.
I mean, Draws and Hollow all of a sudden start popping off. Like, we can't really put them in that conversation.
That's what I mean. It's kind of fun. I mean, I think who do you think at this point, considering all possible outcomes, like anybody could win this event, anybody could win champs.
Mm-hmm.
how many people do you think reasonably actually have a chance still to win the MVP?
How many people?
Like which players? Like, do you think? I mean, Cellium has a legitimate chance.
Cellium, Shotzzy,
Envoy,
Simp,
Skyz. If
Skyz,
Mack.
This last event kind of made me a little down on Mack. To be honest,
they would have to dominate champs. I would honestly. Mack might not be on the list.
Wuskins maybe.
I mean, if they won champs.
If they won champs, Wuskins would. I mean, he's been consistently popping off. It's weird that like Simp feels like a weird one to throw in that conversation, but I mean, Simp's KD has been
great.
Like on average, it's been 1.2 or something.
Yeah.
Like every event.
He's been struggling a little bit the past few weeks, but
yeah, but he's always up there.
But like if he comes out here and drops a 1.3 this event, and then at champs they win champs, he's gonna win the MVP. If he drops, I kind of hope 1.3.
He does. Like. He's been so consistently good, but we obviously hype him up a lot because he deserves it. But I feel like he almost deserves to be hyped up more. Like if this was a new player, people would be going crazy.
Oh yeah,
but like
which people were last year.
It's because he's still the same Simp. He literally is still as good as he was. It's like he's crazy. Simp is crazy.
Too bad they don't make the semifinals.
Which is like that. Also, do we add that to the MVP conversation?
Yeah,
of like. He was good as he is now, as he was before, and he was insanely good.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope it doesn't hurt him, the fact that he's like the same level as he was last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, still probably the best, like one of the best in the league still.
Hey, Octane has a chance at MVP.
Unfortunately,
if they win this tournament and then they win champs, he's MVP.
He'd have to... I unfortunately don't think he does.
What?
I feel like CDL wouldn't allow it at this point. CDL would be like, they would see that and be like, nah,
fake.
We're just
wrong.
They're just gonna do it out of spite. Like, we're not putting Octane on that list.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Maybe they would, but Octane's probably not gonna get.
So in a Rookie of the Year discussion, I mean, it's a 3-horse race with Shotzzy, Mack, and Owakening. It's a 3-horse race.
Yeah.
So I mean. Do you think it's still fully up for grabs at this point, or like would it take it would probably take a drastic.
I think you gotta give it to Shotzzy. Like,
what if Florida wins this event and then wins champs?
I mean,
then you've got to give it to Awakening.
Well, is Fero considered a rookie? No. Okay.
No, because he played in
World War II. Yeah. I mean, I would say. I mean, I still would give it to Shotzzy. Shotzi's been time tested.
Even if
Florida won
this event and champs, they'd win 4 events this year. With 3 events plus then champs.
Yeah, but I feel like that's not all Awakening, really.
Well, sure. I mean, then you could maybe give it to Fero or Skyz.
Yeah, Fero and Skyz in there, but they're not Rookie of the Year, really.
Oh, yeah, for Rookie of the Year, but yeah. Rookie of the Year, you'd have to give it to Awakening at that point. Yes.
Depends how good he does.
Okay, what if Mack... Obviously,
I don't see Mack doing it.
Even if they win champs? Like that, again, because they don't play another event. So.
No, I don't think Mack does it, even if they win champs. I don't know.
Like, as long as Dallas plays decently well at champs.
Yeah, because just Shotzi's been in everyone's mouth all the time.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
Like, everyone talks about Shotzzy. At least has the media kind of hype behind him. Everyone knows that name. Everyone cares about the name. It's like, wow, he's crazy.
Yeah,
everybody says.
And
he's
after
crazy.
this he had like a 1.29 this event, and they won. Like, he was the MVP of this tournament.
And just look at his gameplay. The guy's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the other guys are crazy, too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, the movement on Shotzzy is just, like, no one else does it.
Could you imagine what he would have done last year? Like, in a full season of Black Ops 4, his movement would have been nuts.
I want to see him in a jetpack game.
Oh, could you imagine?
Oh, my God. There's some crazy stuff would happen in a jetpack game with Shotzzy, I swear.
Yeah. It's nuts. Mm-hmm. But, I think it's really interesting overall. I think I like all those options, and it's pretty much like down to those 3, maybe even just 2.
Yeah,
with Awakening and Shotzzy with MVP for a Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so all right, guys, there's the podcast. It's a long one, but a fun one, a great one, and we had to make up for the lost bash today.
Our own formal.
Yep, replaced by formal. So I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of the Best of 3 Call of Esports podcast. If you guys did, well, today was the best of 2.
Best of 2.
The Best of 2 Call of Esports podcast. Hopefully, we'll be back to 3 next week. But if you guys enjoyed it, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, drop a review on Apple Podcasts, drop a comment down below on YouTube. But as always, I'm your boy, SalvationsElite. To my right is Rex, Shady, Nero. And guys, we will see you next time. We out.